I'm just checking that picture. Not sure whether it's going to come out very well. Okay, cassette collecting. Yeah, continuing my look at collecting cassettes, which really got into gear once I arrived here in Southeast Asia. I'm going to do my third, and we're going to run through these pretty quickly. Another 6, and I'm going to be brutally honest about some of them, because well, that's the way it should be. I just want to point out before I get into that I am not a person who manages to slip under the radar. Controversy follows me quite quickly, and I've already had a few incidents, so to speak, with people on the vinyl community, and I've had another one recently. So I like to push the boat out on certain issues, and the one that caught me out or wasn't handled very well by the recipient was the issue of black music. Now, having said all that, today my contributions, there are absolutely no black artists on here, but I do like to point out when I see black artists being reviewed or myself reviewing them, because I think they need to be heard. So anyway, that's my point at the beginning of this video. And for those who, for some reason or other, don't want to hear about black artists, well, you're entitled to your viewpoint. But if you were a lover of music, to cut off that area of music expertise is a bit like cutting off your own arm. Okay, so that's my political point. Let's get on to the cassettes. Let's get started. The first one I want to look at, and here's the well, I'm going to take that off. There's the cassette. You can see it's a copy for obvious reasons, and this is the sleeve that I got with it. I bought this in Bangkok, of course, for 20 baht, which was about 50p. Time Out of Mind by Bob Dylan from 1997. First album of original material for 6 years. Daniel Lanois in production. Let's put it up there again, just so you know that is Bob Dylan. And it was an attempt to combine the old styles with the new technologies. I have to confess, I don't know this album at all. Fans raved about Lovesick and Trying to Get to Heaven, and I may have heard it, I may have put it on maybe twice in 23 years, so I can't recall any of it. Let's move on to the next one, and this one, there's a cassette. Let's get the sleeve bit out. It's again a copy. This is Elemental by Tears for Fears. This was their 4th release. They had a huge success with album 2, Songs from the Big Chair, and 3, Seeds of Love. But then they had a squabble, the two guys who were Tears for Fears, Kurt Smith and Roland Orzabal, yeah. And Smith left, leaving Orzabal really to release this album more like a single, a solo album rather. And it's okay. It's quite soulful, pop music, bit adult contemporary. It attracted some radio airplay. The production was toned down a little bit, but it's hardly riveting stuff. But anyway, it's my second cassette for the day, Elemental by Tears for Fears from 1993. Here's the next one then. And yeah, guess what? It's another copy. And this is In Step by Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble, released in 1989. It was his fourth album, and it celebrated his sobriety after a period in rehab. He'd been a bit of a abuser, to say the least, with both alcohol and drugs. Unfortunately, it was the last release, really, though, before his untimely death in a helicopter crash. Strong tracks on this, Crossfire and Tightrope, I love. Very personal songs, and there were also 3 blues classics on here. Buddy Guy's Leave My Girl Alone, Howling Wolf, Love Me Darling, and the Willie Dixon Let Me Love You Baby. Absolutely 5-star guitar player. I don't know him that well, but I do recall some of his wizardry on Cat People on the David Bowie Let's Dance album earlier in the 80s. Sadly missed. For in here is, you can't see that, well, let's show you this. You'll know what we're talking about here. This is Queen, of course, their 6th album, News of the World. It was released in 1977, and it included the 2 huge rock stadium anthems, We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions. The album composition very much stuck to the half rock blockbusters and the half operatic music hall ballads. Personally, the 2 mentioned arena rock songs actually bore me to death, and overplayed, of course. The album's saved by Freddie's lighter songs, All Dead, and Deacon's Spread Your Wings, I think, which is a power ballad. Overall, pretty mediocre by Queen's high standards, but there it is, News of the World by Queen. So to the next one, and I'm busy trying to get it out of the cover, and here we have it. This one is an original, but bought in Thailand, and it's this album, 18 tracks by the boss, Bruce Springsteen. All the lyrics on the inside. I bought this in Bangkok but it was brand new, and so it cost a few quid, not much. I was crazy about the boss at this time's an understatement. This album was a retrospective released album with material spanning the breadth of his career. All those songs that didn't get onto albums or for some reason were unissued. The three unissued songs on here, but there was also a box set for this release which had 66 songs on it. But my favourites on this, going back to this, my favourites are the 2 songs that he gave to Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes, The Fever and Hearts of Stone, Rendezvous, which is a great rock song, as is Pink Cadillac, and then reworkings of Growing Up, and an acoustic version of Born in the USA. Absolutely tremendous stuff. Excuse me, the air quality around here is really shocking. This is the final one for today. This is a band called the Hounds, and this is their 1990 album, Attitude. I think I picked this one up. I think this might have been picked up in England actually when I was on a visit, because it is not a copy, and There we are, let's put it up again. This band around from Essex, and they were around in the mid-80s. Described as indie rock, but they disbanded in 1990, but have reformed 2005, released 3 albums, 14, 16 and one in 2020. I haven't heard any of those, and I couldn't really remember this one, although I have listened subsequently to a couple of tracks on YouTube, and it was really quite aggressive chord structure. Sounded more like post-punk cross with grunge, although they have been described as a amalgam of the Smiths. I didn't hear any of that. The Fall, yes, and Sonic Youth, yes. That's what they sound like. Doesn't appeal too much to me, but at the time I must have thought they were worth a buy. So anyway, that's the last one for today, but I will be doing these very frequently, so stay tuned. If any of you have any comments on those 6, I'd be really pleased to get them, particularly those wolfhounds, and that's a lot. Thank you.